Hey everyone, I hope you are doing good. This is another podcast of Cosmic Convos, which I really should turn into Cosmic Shorts or something like this, since I'm pretty good about keeping these under 10 minutes. Today, I didn't have anything that I thought I really wanted to share, but I kept feeling the need to, upload a podcast before I jump into the readings that I'll be uploading later. And as I kind of sat and thought, what was one of those things that I would want to share with everyone? What's something that I want to talk about? And what came to mind is centered around those of you that are trying to walk down a path that is very spiritual based, and also understanding the ego and how that comes into play. Now, this is something that even I struggle with, and oftentimes I can get kind of deterred off of my own path because I'm trying to understand, where does the ego have a place in spirituality? And most people would say it doesn't have a place. But us as humans, our human nature is to have an ego. It's impossible to completely demolish the ego as a human. That's a part of our experience, right? So with that understanding, so where does the ego have a place in the spiritual path? And I think what I believe is the ego is meant to be that thing that really pushes you forward past the obstacles, the challenges, the tests, things like this. I've experienced on my journey, and I continue to experience, um, a lot of difficulty. And I don't think that, because I've been told this, that, when you're walking spiritually, when you're doing spiritual work, everyone struggles when they're doing this work because it's supposed to be this super humbling experience, and money's not important, and you just, if you pick that path, there's going to be struggle and sacrifice because it's meant to help other people. Although the outline of that is correct from my experience, I don't think the meaning of it, the definition of why their struggle is correct. I have come to the conclusion on my own journey through my own struggles and challenges is that when you're walking that spiritual path, spirit absolutely tests you the same way God would test you, the same way, um, anyone would test you. Even if you're working in a corporation, they're going to test you to make sure that you can rise to the occasion, that you're someone they can trust. They're going to see, are you a heavy hitter? When everything else falls down and everyone else turns their back, are you going to go with them, or are you going to go through to the end? It's that ride or die energy, right? And I don't think spirit's any different. I don't think God is any different. I feel like a lot of my challenges have not only been to accelerate my healing and my growth, so that I could show up in the way that I do and have the understanding and the perspective. It's like you're choosing a rapid path of destruction so that you can quickly plow through. You might call it karma or trauma, whatever you want to call it. You're plowing through those things very quickly, that energy very quickly, in order to show up in a healed, healthy, able way. But on top of that, I also believe that there are moments where I'm faced with the decision to turn my back on my spirituality. And it doesn't necessarily come in as like the devil tempting me. But I could go through a really harsh and difficult period of my time. My journey can get really, really stringent, where I feel like I'm not going to be successful, or I feel like, things aren't working out, that I can't overcome certain obstacles unless I go the other way. And I feel like in those moments, that's where the ego is meant to have a role in spirituality, because it's those moments that you're ready to turn your back on spirit. You're ready to not walk down that path, to not show up in that way, to not be so giving, to not be so loving and welcoming and caring and raising everyone but yourself up. It's in those moments where you're feeling that really low energy and things get so difficult. That's where the ego, I believe, is meant to come in and really help you stay focused on that path. That's where the ego is meant to come in and say, hey, no, you can do this, because previous experiences is what the ego is created by, right? It's meant to protect you because it remembers. It's like its own little memory bank of everything that's happened, and then it tries to give you the decisions to save you, to make you comfortable, to help you based on the experiences from the past. And the way that comes into play for me is because my ego, from walking down this spiritual path, it reminds me of all the times that spirit has never left me, that I was always protected by my guides, by the fact that, God would always make provisions, would always help me find a way, that I would always be taken care of. Um, in other moments where I felt this same way. And my ego reminding me of that is what helps me not spiral, helps me not turn my back, helps me stay optimistic and hopeful, and continue to trust in faith. So I do think there is a place for ego in spirituality, and I believe that place is to come in and lift you out of those ruts where you begin to doubt or lose faith or lack trust. And your ego comes in and reminds you, hey, you remember a year ago when you felt the same way, but you made it through that. And spirit came and helped you through that. And God made sure you stayed safe and you always rose back up. It helps you through the roller coasters of walking on that spiritual path. But I also believe the low points of that roller coaster are meant to test you. They are meant to strengthen you, to make sure that if I'm going to rely on you as spirit, as God, that you're going to show up. It's meant to, I don't want to say harden you, but it's definitely meant to help you build that trust, that faith, that courage, that blind, trust in what you're doing and how you're helping others. So that way, when you meet these difficult, challenging moments and experiences on your path and on your journey, you're able to stay in a very loving, humble, beautiful place that's not focused on, well, what am I getting out of this? How is this helping me? Why am I not getting this blessing? It keeps you focused on the people that you're meant to stay focused on, which is everyone else around you, and uplifting them and giving them love, and cherishing and celebrating with them when they have blessings. It helps you stay in that energy of abundance, of love, and that's the energy of spirit. And I think that when things get hard, it's really easy to focus inward on yourself and look at everything that you don't have. So there's also a grace that comes with that, being appreciative and grateful for everything you lack or don't lack. And it stops becoming so much about you and more about everyone else around you, everyone else in the world. And that's where your energy is supposed to be directed. I believe that's where we make the biggest and most influential impacts, is when we focus on everyone around us in a positive, healthy way, where we want to celebrate them, we want to love them, uplift them, encourage them. We want to do whatever we can to help them on their journey and their path. And I think that's a part of walking that spiritual path, is learning to do that. But you have to go through certain things to help you get to that point, so you don't keep focusing on yourself. You can't be sent somewhere to help someone, get a job and make a lot of money, and then you see that person making all this money and you're like, well, why can't I make that kind of money? That doesn't work. It doesn't work when you do that and you have that mindset. So there is a shaping, there is a conditioning of your mind when you choose to walk down that spiritual path. And I believe that God, spirit, angels, whoever, they help you condition your mind in that way so that you can stay in a more giving, loving, abundant energy. And then you get the things that you're meant to receive, the blessings you're meant to receive. Those come in other ways. So you have to not be so stringent. You can't be so narrow-minded on how you receive your blessings. You can't tell spirit how you want to be blessed, because they'll always bless you, but you have to be open enough to receive those blessings no matter how they come through, no matter what they may look like. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. That's kind of what came to mind when I felt like I really wanted to post something podcast wise. If you guys have any thoughts, ideas on this, I'd love to read the comments. I'd love to hear what you think and your experiences as well, going through that roller coaster while trying to walk the spiritual path. Thank you so much. It's a blessing to have you guys listen to me. It's a blessing to be able to share my experiences and my journey with you all. And I look forward to the next time that I get to talk with you. Have an amazing rest of your day, morning, night, evening, and I'll catch up with you later. Bye.